Announced a sweeping new order on immigration. It will allow undocumented immigrants to stay in the U.S. if they're legally married to an American citizen.
Now, this could potentially keep thousands of people from being deported. KTLA 5's.
The extension of parole in place that was announced by President Biden on Monday does not make any immigrants in the U.S. eligible for residency or protect any immigrants from deportation. The media has been parroting the claims from the White House's press release without making any attempt to verify them or to understand the subject. Trump supporters and Fox News folk have been criticizing the policy for various things it doesn't do, which has furthered the misinformation. Any person who is eligible for the expanded parole in place, that being immigrants in the U.S. who are married to a U.S. citizen, have lived in the U.S. for 10 years, were already eligible to obtain legal permanent residency, a green card, and after 3 years U.S. citizenship. That exemption has existed since the creation of the law that penalized non-citizens who enter the U.S. unlawfully and remain more than 6 months without legal immigration status. The spouses of U.S. citizens were able to get an I-601 waiver of unlawful presence, allowing them to get residency despite having been in the U.S. unlawfully. In 2013, the Obama administration created the I-601A waiver, which allowed for the spouses of citizens to file the required paperwork while living in the U.S. without immigration status. The benefit of this is that it allows for such individuals to obtain residency without having to be separated from their family for an extended period of time while their paperwork is being processed. An I-601A still required them to return to their home country for a week or two and then return lawfully. The extending of parole in place to the spouses of U.S. citizens will allow for them to get their green card without having to leave the U.S., but that is all it does. The spouses of U.S. citizens were already eligible for a green card and 3 years after that eligible for citizenship. Parole in place does not change anything other than the need to travel abroad briefly. It does not make anyone eligible who was not eligible already. It does not expand eligibility for immigration benefits. The claims that this will create a path to residency for 500,000 immigrants living in the U.S. is simply not true. The claim that this is some sort of amnesty program is not true. The headline stating that this will safeguard thousands of immigrants from deportation is also misinformed. This was political theater that doesn't really help anyone. It makes the process more convenient for a small portion of immigrants who were already able to obtain lawful immigration status and who have very little risk of being deported. The only reason to create such a policy would be to give the immigrant community a little insignificant gift that gets newspapers to spill a lot of ink, reminding voters that Biden is on the side of immigrants, despite the executive order he issued last week essentially canceling asylum temporarily.